Hi everyone. So if you found this video, what now? Then I just want you to take a moment. Before we dive into all the things that I want to talk about today, I just want you to take a moment to breathe. Before you click out and you just get frustrated already, because I know that so many people may be feeling very emotional right now, I just want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it out. One more time, take one more deep breath in through the nose. Another sip of air in. Release it out. Contrary to what your mind may be telling you right now, you have been prepared for this time. Contrary to what your mind and your fear may be telling you right now, you are exactly where you need to be. And if you have reincarnated to this earth plane for this exact moment, then you are meant to be part of something bigger than maybe you could have ever imagined before. And I don't want you to sit here and think that I'm just about to be telling you, do this, do that, this is the time. Yes, it is a time, but what I really want you to do right now, first and foremost, is to feel, to go to the depths of your feeling right now, to do that deep level of self-inquiry, to ask what is going on within me right now, whether it's sadness, anger, frustration, overwhelm. I want to encourage you to just simply take today to feel, to understand. Because the fact of the matter is, in that depth of feeling, in that deep, deep, deep call to go within, that in itself, following that call, that in itself is an act of rebellion. Now, why it's an act of rebellion? Why is it an act of rebellion? It's because we have been programmed as society, doesn't matter what side that you're on, we have been programmed as a society to ignore our feelings, to desensitize ourselves. We take in content piece after content piece, and over time, social media has desensitized us, has disconnected us from ourselves. And to make any type of change, to do anything in this world, the first thing that we must do is, number one, come back to ourselves. When we enter this world, the Muladhara is what guides us into the body, initiates us into our first home, which is the body. And so the more disconnected that we feel from the body, the more disconnected that we feel from all of the other energy centers that allow us to create change, that allow us to manifest. So the first thing that I want you to do is to feel. Write it down, talk it out, do what you need to do. This is one of the most pivotal times that we will face, because it is the beginning of a deconstruction. Up until this moment, we have faced a contraction period of a lot of internal issues in our society being amplified, pressurized almost. And now what we're turning into, what we're moving into, is a time where things are about to crumble. The deconstruction period is beginning. And you may feel fear, that is okay. You may feel afraid, you may feel scared, whatever the case is, that is okay. What I want you to do is honor the feelings that you feel and continue to connect in with your body first and foremost, and then remind yourself that you are here on purpose. See, one of the funny parts about our system is that it wields our own power against us. These systems, school systems, these governmental systems, all these systems indoctrinate us into a way of thinking that shift our way of being. Disconnect us from ourselves, they disconnect us from community, they disconnect us from our higher self, and they disconnect us from source. All of these little pawns in our system really bend our own will against us. And so when we have come upon a time like this, we have to understand that it's not simply an election. It's not simply a decision. This is not the beginning or the end. This is part of the process that we all have, whether you know it or not, signed up for in some way, shape, or form. But because you are looking at the problem, because you are seeing what the issue is, it is the only piece of evidence that you need that you are supposed to be part of the solution, to know that you are supposed to be part of the solution. So I really want to talk about this today, and I want to begin to shift maybe something internally within you so that you can begin to step forward in a way that only you can. We need to really understand here that, again, as we're moving into this deconstruction period, it is paramount that we begin to unlearn all the ways of being that we have upheld up until this moment, that we begin to think outside the box. Now, how is this relevant? Because many of us think because of the presidential election that things are about to change, and you're right, things are about to change, but things have been changing up until this moment in time already. So the question is, are we listening to the call within to create the systems that we want to see? We cannot look to these larger systems for any type of support. We cannot look to these people, to these puppets, to be the change that we know we need as a community. But the problem is that the indoctrination that we have went through has left us feeling very powerless, has left us feeling that these are the people who we have to, these are the systems that we have to abide by in order to make a change, when in reality, the change starts with listening to yourself. When in reality, the change starts with listening to your purpose. When in reality, the change starts by doing the things that you know you want to do and being the changes you want to see in your community. Now, you might say, I don't know my purpose, number one, or you might say my purpose is not as grand to really make a change. Well, that is so wrong. And again, we have to unlearn this idea that there are powers outside of ourselves and these powers are the only things in life that can really make a change. This is false. Anything that is in alignment with the energy of limitation, with this or that, with duality, is false. It is not of truth. We all have come here to contribute something unique, to listen to the call and the vision within, to begin to change what we see in our external reality. It doesn't end here, and it does not start here. It is not going to start here. It's not going to end here. It actually starts with you listening to yourself. So right now, today, can you listen to your own feelings? Can you listen to your own emotions? And then can you listen to the call that you feel within? Many of us are tired of living under a capitalist system. Many of us are tired of living under a white colonialist supremacist system. What are you doing in the smallest, quote unquote, or biggest, quote unquote, ways, knowing that every single step that you make will make a difference? And beyond the things that you want to see change in your society, are you listening to yourself? Are you thinking outside the box? Are you thinking about ways that you can create what you desire? Listening to your purpose, following your purpose is one of the most erotic things that you can do, because at its core, your purpose is your biggest desire that you have for yourself and for your community. And so listening to your purpose and beginning to create a purpose-filled life is not in vain. It's actually the solution that we all have been waiting for. And I know you may be listening to this video and you may be thinking again that how could my purpose really make a difference? Because when you listen to yourself, you're listening to the God within. And if you're wondering why there isn't change, if you're wondering why things are so out of balance, out of alignment, it's because we all have been disconnected from our own God within. If you're wondering where God is here. God is here. Whatever your purpose is going to be the solution that you have been waiting for. It does not stop. It does not start and it does not end here. The systems, the contribution, the things that you are meant to create will create a ripple effect of change, revolution, and freedom. But are you going to continue to look to an external source to give you something that you know only you can create, that only you can be a part of, that only you can contribute to? When it comes to these things outside of ourselves, again, they only bend our own will against us. Can you recover the part of yourself that believes in freedom? Can you recover the part of yourself that believes in revolution? Can you recover the part of yourself that believes in equality, in alignment, in freedom and bliss? We all have a right to these things, but can we also find the will to create these things within us? Whatever small, quote unquote, or big contribution you have will be ultimately what begins to create the shift. You have been prepared for this time, for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. You have been prepared for this time longer than you ever thought. You are exactly where you need to be. And the only enemy that we face is the shadow within us that tells us that there's no way that you can make a contribution, that there's no way that you can do anything about this situation, that there's no way that it can be you, that it can be here, that it can be now. That is the enemy, the shadow within you that tries to convince you that your purpose is insignificant. The shadow within you that tries to convince you that no one will listen to you. The shadow within you that tries to convince you that there's nothing that you can do. That is the enemy. The shadow within you that stops you from activating the light within yourself. That is the enemy. If you were to have any prayer today, don't pray for anything, but for your own power to be revealed to you. You are exactly where you need to be. You know that. Underneath the overwhelm, underneath the sadness, underneath the frustration, the anger that you may feel, you know you are exactly where you need to be. There's nothing within you that can take your power away. If you're here, if you attracted this video, you are a visionary, a revolutionary. You came here on purpose and you know that. So the question here is, are you going to follow that call? Are you going to follow that voice? Are you going to start to listen to the inner God within that is not indoctrinated by any system, that knows the blueprint, that knows what you came here to do? Will you listen? Or will you continue to put your trust in systems that were never meant to support you? This is a time of activation. This is a time of revolution. This is a time of freedom. But you create those circumstances for not just yourself, but also everyone who will come into contact with you. Will you listen? It's time for us to do the necessary shadow work to initiate us into our own purpose, power, to our own authenticity, into what you know that only you can do. It is an initiation that we must say yes to at this moment in time. It's not a time for hiding. It's not a time for sadness, despair. Feel those feelings today, but know that they are temporary, and know that you came here on purpose. You are exactly where you need to be. This is just the beginning.